Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking into something really tragic, the crash of Air India flight AI-171.
Yes, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner went down right after takeoff from Ahmedabad.
A devastating loss. Over 270 people. There's just so much speculation flying around.
There always is in these situations.
Exactly. So our goal here in this deep dive is to cut through that. Look at the main theories, the facts, and where the investigation actually stands right now.
It's important to stress this is a huge undertaking, a really complex investigation involving Indian authorities but also international teams.
Absolutely. And where do they even start with something like this? I assume the black boxes are priority one.
Oh, definitely. Recovering the cockpit voice recorder, the CVR, and the flight data recorder, the FDR. Yeah. That's always the immediate focus. Crucial evidence.
And they have them.
Yes, both were recovered. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, the AIIB, they're analyzing them now. They've got help from U.S. and U.K. teams, too.
Okay, so the data is being looked at, but it sounds like it'll take a while.
It will. Given the sheer extent of the wreckage and just the complexity of modern aircraft systems, it's a long process.
Right. And I heard the Indian government set up a specific committee.
That's right, a high-level committee. They're aiming for a preliminary report within about 3 months, which is quite quick, actually, and to recommend safety improvements.
Okay, so with the black boxes secured, attention turns to why it happened. What are the leading theories investigators are looking at?
Well, one of the first areas they always examine, and it's often a difficult one, is pilot error.
A mistake in the cockpit.
Potentially. One specific theory circulating is that the co-pilot might have mistakenly retracted the flaps instead of the landing gear.
During takeoff. That sounds critical.
Extremely critical.
Yeah.
Right during that initial climb phase. If the flaps were retracted too early, it would cause a massive loss of lift.
Leading to a stall or just fall in?
A very rapid, likely uncontrollable loss of altitude. It's catastrophic if that's what happened.
And these were experienced pilots?
Yes. Reports suggest both were experienced. But investigators will be meticulously reviewing their training, their actions, everything recorded in those final moments.
Okay, so pilot error is one avenue. What else? There were reports, I think, from survivors and maybe CCTV about a loud noise.
Yes, that points toward the second major theory. Mechanical failure, possibly engine-related.
Like an engine giving out, or worse.
Could be a single engine failure, or even the much rarer but devastating double engine failure. That loud noise report certainly makes engine malfunction a key focus.
And isn't there some history here with Air India's Dreamliners?
There is, and that's, well, quite significant. An identical Air India 787 had an engine failure back in 2023.
Wow, what caused that?
It was traced back to maintenance errors, specifically improper installation of a turbine blade.
So that past incident puts Air India's maintenance practices right?
Right under the microscope now, absolutely.
Yeah.
Investigators will be scrutinizing the maintenance logs, the procedures, everything related to those engines on AI-171.
And there were some concerns about oversight, too. The regulator.
Yeah, there have been reports suggesting India's aviation regulator might be understaffed. That naturally raises questions about how effective their oversight can really be. Are the checks thorough enough across the board?
Okay, pilot error, mechanical maintenance issues. What else? The plane itself. The Dreamliner.
Well, it's worth noting this is actually the first fatal crash involving the Boeing 787 since it started flying commercially back in 2011. It has a very strong safety record.
So a design flaw is less likely, but not impossible.
Exactly. Investigators won't rule out a design or system issue until the data says otherwise. If the black boxes show some kind of system anomaly, that path will be explored very carefully.
Are there any other sort of outside factors they consider?
Oh, yes, they look at everything. Could there have been a bird strike during takeoff? That can cause significant damage.
Right.
They'll also check weight and balance. Was the aircraft overloaded? Was the weight distributed correctly, especially being fully fueled for a long flight?
Long haul to London, right.
Precisely. And while there's currently no evidence pointing this way, they technically have to consider external factors, even sabotage, until it can be definitively ruled out. Every possibility stays on the table initially.
So, stepping back, What's the main takeaway here? Where does this leave us?
It leaves us waiting for the detailed analysis, primarily from those black boxes. The cause is still undetermined.
But the investigation is clearly thorough, methodical, looking at all these angles.
Extremely methodical.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, as a precaution, India has ordered immediate safety checks on all Boeing 787s flying for its airlines.
A prudent step.
Very much so. That black box data, though, that's what will ultimately piece together the final moments and hopefully provide definitive answers.
It's fascinating in a somber way how each piece of data contributes to making flying safer down the line.
It really is. Every piece of information helps build a safer future for aviation. The lessons learned from tragedies like this are, unfortunately, often paid for at a very high cost, but they are crucial.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, our listeners. Beyond the technical aspects, what can we learn from this painstaking investigation process itself? Think about how these diverse teams, engineers, pilots, data analysts, international experts have to come together under immense pressure. How do they collaborate to solve these incredibly complex, high-stakes puzzles? It's not just about finding blame, but about finding answers to prevent it from ever happening again, something to consider.